Hello, everybody who's joining. Hi, hello, Facebook and YouTube. I hope everybody is really well. Now, this is very special, and I've been looking forward to doing this for ages. Welcome to my backstage bedroom boudoir beauty with none other than the legendary Kerry September. Yes, she's in the house, all masked up, obviously, because we're doing a shoot today. So we are doing a cover shoot this afternoon for some pictures that will be on the covers of the Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine for January and February edition, and also March, April. Hopefully we're going to get two lovely shots done, maybe a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. It's a beautiful day down here on the farm, which is great. So we're all going to be outside. And I've got some new fitness wear. I've got some stuff that was being sent to me from Asquith, London, for their new season for next year. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, it's going to be good. Interestingly, actually, photographers don't like too much sun, direct sun, because it just kind of drains everything. So we're actually hoping for a few clouds, bizarrely. But anyway, enough chat about that, because today I thought, do you know what? Let's just go live with real time what we're actually doing here, because who better? I know Kerry and I have done Instagram Live before with a split screen, but it's always a bit tricky. But here we can actually talk to her, see her in action. So I'll just give you a little update of where we are at the moment. So we started about half an hour ago, and Kerry has prepped the base on my face. I've got, actually I can take these off now, can't I?
You can take those off.
Excellent.
Yes.
Sorry, do you want to say hello?
Hi. I can't really speak with this on.
You can't. Oh, I'm sorry. It's also tricky, isn't it? So yeah, anyway, Kerry just tucks tissues into here because obviously when she's doing my makeup for a shoot, you don't want any kind of jawline. So literally any bit of exposed skin all gets covered in with the makeup. So we've started with your favourite. You like using the Chanel bases, don't you?
Yes. I mix the Chanel Vital Lumiere with the Perfect Lumiere.
Great. So this is what, and this is, I'm using number 30. Now this is the same as I used in my makeup tutorial, which you'll find on YouTube. And I know Amy is in the house over on Facebook. Hello, Amy. Thanks for joining us. So Amy will link to anything that we talk about. Well, hopefully. I mean, Kerry may well throw in strange things that we haven't yet managed to get a link for, but if not, we'll go back and we'll find them. But a lot of the things that Kerry uses on my face are the very things that I have in my makeup kit now, which I talked about when I did my own makeup tutorial way back at the beginning of lockdown. And so you'll find them all there if you want to take a look. And similarly, I also did my own hair tutorial, which was actually showing you some of the hints and tips that Kerry has taught me and she's doing at the moment. So now we can get a proper kind of in-depth look. But if you want to watch that later on as a bit of catch-up or find links to things that we've talked about, then that's when you will find them. Yes, hi there, Liz, on Instagram. This is a baby salon blouse. Isn't this lovely? So I know so many of you love that Maddie dress. So this is Carol McEwen. She's on Instagram, and I think she might be Carol McEwen 1. Is that right? She is so under the radar. She doesn't even have a website. You have to get on her mailing list if you want to order these lovely crepe dresses and tops and things that she makes. And she has them all ethically and sustainably made in London by hand. And she is just amazing. Her original brand was Baby Salon in Portobello Road, and I've bought her clothes for such a long time. It was so nice to reconnect. I don't know, Carol, if you're watching today, or maybe you're watching on catch up. Thank you for sending me this one. I love it. It's Wellbeing pink, and also the Maddie dress in blue, which I'm going to try as maybe for one of the magazine covers. We'll see whether that works later on today. So thank you very much indeed for that. So let's get going. I've got some questions. Amy is going to put questions onto an interactive little setup that I've got here on my iPad. So hopefully we will be able to get through most of the questions that have been asked. There have been all sorts of questions. Just a couple I'll cover off quickly before we get into hair. This was from Tracy, actually on YouTube. Hi Tracy, nice to have YouTube commentators joining us. So you say, what everyday shower gels do you recommend? Well, I look for things that are made without sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, because it can be very drying on the skin, and I'm eczema prone, so I have always avoided SLS. And the one that I'm really loving at the moment is from Ishka. That's the beautiful British brand based up in the Outer Hebrides, and they use Hebridean seaweed from super clean waters, and it smells so fresh. And they also have hand sanitizers and all those things that we want at the moment. And they've given us a Liz Loves. So if you're watching this later on today or in the coming days, Tracy, do head over and take a look. Liz Loves gets you, I think it's 15% off the first order at Ishka. And I've been using that in the shower and I absolutely love it. This is a quick question on HRT. I'm not going to take many questions on HRT today because we're going to be talking about hair and makeup. But this is Adele on YouTube, who asks, what if you can't take HRT? Will symptoms eventually resolve? And what happens when you come off it? Well, very, very few people can't take it. There's a lot of misinformation. So do have a look at my download. It's called The Truth About HRT. Hopefully that will give you loads of answers. Also, lots of great information on menopausedoctor.co.uk. So almost all women can take some form of HRT, even those having breast cancer treatment. And it depends on the type of HRT. There are lots and lots of different types. So this is where often GPs have to do a bit of learning, because if you're told you can't have it because of DVT or being over a healthy weight or having migraines, all of those things you can take as long as it's transdermal. What does it eventually resolve your symptoms? Well, alas, maybe not. No. So it is something that can go on and on and on, which is not ideal, is it? Which is why it's really important to get symptoms sorted out so that we can all live a healthy, vital life. And what happens when you come off HRT? Well, basically you tend to get symptoms of menopause during the time of menopause. So it doesn't delay it at all. It's like taking an aspirin for your headache. It doesn't delay the headache. When you stop taking the aspirin, you don't go, oh, I've suddenly got a headache. What it does is it sorts out the symptoms while you've got the issue. So if you want to come off HRT later and you've gone through menopause, then all the major symptoms like hot flushes and insomnia and things may well have resolved, or they may not, depending on your own body. It's very, very individual. But, you know, for me, as I've always said before, the health benefits of HRT are just so many. Osteoporosis, bone health, coronary heart disease, all these major killers for women. And of course, we're now looking at immunity and COVID protection potentially. There's a lot of research going on there at the moment. Anyhow, that's all I'm going to say. I will do another deep dive into HRT. And I know, Amy, perhaps you can pop up links. Hi, Seals. Celia from Kenya on Facebook. Hello. So nice to have you with me. We will do another dive on that. And I've got lots of podcasts. I think one of my first ever podcast recordings was about hormones 3 or 4 years ago. So do have a listen to a lot of my back catalogue on podcasts. Lots and lots of information. Okay, so shall we, Kerry, just talk about what you're doing? Because I've been nattering on here and you've just been getting on. What did you put in my hair? So basically, I was in the shower this morning, washed my hair, came out. I had no product in my hair, nothing. What did you then put into it?
I use GHD volumizing mousse.
A volumizing mousse, okay.
I don't have it. No, it's not here.
Well, and what about this? Oh, that's a final shine.
That's a shine.
That's for
a
later.
finishing spray that I'll use when I'm happy with everything.
Okay.
And
so a volumizing mousse. I actually really like mousses. I find that my hair's quite fine, and a mousse just tends to hold the shape quite well.
Yeah, and they're not so wet and sticky, and they're kind of just a little bit kinder to the environment and kinder to your hair, I think. Yeah,
okay. And do they protect against heat? Because obviously, when I'm working with you, it's a lot of heat.
No, I put a little bit of heat protecting spray in before the volumizing mousse.
Okay, heat protection spray.
Heat protection spray.
Okay. So we're just being asked here about wearing a shield and a mask. When you go to beauty salons, people are just wearing masks. So I know these are all recommendations, but having looked into it, you're quite happy to work with a face visor.
Yes.
Which is good. And there we go. Excellent. Okay, so you've got your heat protecting spray and the mousse.
And the mousse.
And of course you couldn't talk while you were wearing a mask.
Exactly.
Small thing. That's why I'm not wearing one. I couldn't have my makeup done when you're working. We are actually at work, guys. This is not a salon treatment. We are actually working.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the mousse in, and then you gave me a basic blow dry, rough blow dry.
You just put a little bit of product in your hair, and then obviously don't use the product when it's wet. Don't use a heat styling tool because it's going to damage your hair. So you have to blow out the product. Just give it a rough blowout.
Yep.
And then when it's dry, you can start styling.
Okay, great. So I've had a rough dry just to basically get the wetness out of the hair.
Yeah.
And then what are you using? What is your implement here?
So I like to switch it about. So I've got my GHD gold styler.
Okay, now that's a flat one.
It's a flat iron.
Yeah.
But I use it, I kind of have a technique of putting a wave in.
And that was the one I've shown on if you look at my YouTube tutorial, I don't know whether you saw that. I don't know whether I got it right, but you do a really clever sort of flick with it.
I do, like a sort of flick and a twist.
A flick and a twist. Okay, we'll show that.
Twist.
But you're actually using quite a big barrel one here.
I am, for a softer look.
Okay.
So it's quite tricky to explain, but you just kind of twist it.
Really gently, so it's not a
really
ringlet,
gently.
is it? Okay, if I go around to the side a bit, then maybe you can see. Can you see the screen there? Can people see you? Hopefully people can see.
Yeah, so I'm just doing individual sections. So anything from front of the ear goes back, and anything behind the ear kind of should go forward. That's generally the rule. So, if you're ever confused about getting that softness around the face, just take it away from the face rather than, it's quite aging if you curl the hair towards the face.
Oh, that is a good tip. Curling the hair towards the face can be aging. Right, so always away. Curl away. Literally curl away, curl away.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
now,
here's a bit of hair here. Should we do one here?
Okay, let's do that one.
So, just pull out the hair, make sure it's all straight. You might need to turn a bit towards me, Liz, that's it. So, you just clamp the hair at the bottom.
Okay.
And then just pull it out.
And then pull it out. Okay, so that's... Woo.
So you just have to practice.
Okay.
A little bit of practice.
Yeah.
And then leave it, do the whole head, and then just shake your head out. Bit of a disco flip, and then you should be ready.
The disco flip. I might show you the disco flip at the end. Okay, so we've had some questions about makeup. Oh, it is quite hot. I've had to shut the windows, of course, because we know what we're like on Facebook. A lot of complaints go on it whenever I do anything with the window open. It sounds like a gale. Okay, so this is a makeup question, Kerry. It's coming from Instagram. And it says, "Hi Liz, I have a question for Kerry." This is from Frog Chrissy, who says, "Some say you have to apply a highlighter on cheeks, top of nose, chin, basically all surfaces that reflect the light, while others say that's where you need to apply bronzer, as that's where the sun naturally hits you. Which one is it? I'm not into contouring, so the simpler and more natural looking routine, the better." So bronzer versus highlighter, where do you stand on this and where do you apply them?
I would say for the summer, a little bit, well, you don't need any bronzer in the summer, do you? But it's just about bringing out a natural, bringing out what you have already.
Yeah.
And less is more. So you can start off using a little bit and then you can always add more rather than going in for the lip, the nose, the cheekbones. That's all great for a photograph, but in real life, I don't believe it works.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you say it's not actually about contouring as such, it's more about shaping. Just give it
shaping.
A little bit of definition. So after Kerry had done my base and a little bit of powder, a little bit of translucent powder. I always like the Laura Mercier one. Is that the one that you use?
The Laura Mercier one.
Laura Mercier powder. It's a loose powder. I think it's the same, actually.
The contouring powder?
No. Just the loose face powder. I think that's
Laura
the same.
Mercier
Yeah, there you go. Laura Mercier translucent.
That's all I use.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So really, really simple. And then you used a little bit of this.
That's NARS.
This is from NARS. Okay, you can see how much Kerry loves that because that's really gone down to the bottom. This is called...
The name's rubbed off, is it?
Casino.
Casino.
Okay, so this is kind of like a shaping colour. It's almost... Well, it's a little bit darker than my natural colour, so you'd want to go, whatever your skin tone is, you'd want to go a little bit darker. And then you use that... Did you kind of use that just here?
Yeah, just... in the dips?
In the dips, okay. I haven't got many dips, but you're kind of creating dips.
If you haven't got dips, you can suck your cheeks in and kind of, you just literally go underneath and you use brush like
What's this
that.
one? Okay.
Or a brush like that.
Yeah, got you. Oops.
Yeah.
I think Instagram just paused, but hopefully we are working. Right, okay, so we've got a question here on Instagram. What are you doing with the hair once you've curled it? Well, you just have to wait and see. Wait and see what happens. We might be doing the disco flip. Disco flip is really good. Roxy, Dog of My Life says, love, Kerry, your work is just a genius.
Oh, thank
these
you.
brushes, what are these brushes called? My goodness, you've used them so much, the name's worn off.
Yeah, they're from Shuamera, which I don't know if Shuamera, but they're Japanese brushes. If you're going to invest in good brushes,
Yeah.
Japanese brushes are basically the best. They last a lifetime.
Yeah, it's true. I've had some for a long time.
Or even eco tools if you're more into your sort of vegan friendly tools.
Right.
Or Real Techniques if you're on a budget.
Okay, cool. 3 good options there. Oh, I'm just going to block my...
I know,
It's also,
I'm sweating.
well, it's really hot, and because I've got my little Instagram lights in front of us, and actually these hairstylers are super hot as well. So, and that's why I don't actually use tongs on my hair every day, because I've also got colour in my hair. I've got highlights. So, yeah, obviously, you know, certainly being older as well, I don't want to risk breaking it. Okay, so Samantha Richards on Facebook is saying the colour top. The makeup, hair, the whole look is divine. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is a great. So this was Carol's. I don't know what she calls it, but it's just the hot pink. Victoria's saying, are they blusher brushes or do they have a special name? Would they be shaping brushes? Do you think?
Okay, hang on a second.
I'm not quite sure what they're
Let me
called,
show
but you
you.
can have
So,
a look. Okay, so what do you use? It's
If
a
you-
real
if
brush
for blu-
tutorial here.
For blusher, you could use any of these. It just depends how. The smaller the brush, the more precise you can place it. Mm-hmm. The bigger the brush,
It's a real wash of colour then,
exactly,
isn't
you
it?
can blend it more. But it's really hard to describe with brushes because when you use them for years, it does take practice. Even I've had to have years of practice to fully understand how brushes work.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. What have we got? We've got questions here about retinol. Okay, so this is from Sandra, also on Facebook. Can you remind us to use a retinol cream for your face, neck and décolletage? Yes, I do. So the retinol, I like the Beauty Pie one. And we've still got that offer code, Liz Loves in capitals, that gets you your first month's membership free on Beauty Pie. And they've got a really great retinol. I think it's called Super Retinol. It comes in a pump. And it's quite gentle, but it does definitely seem to work. So that's what I've been using on my face and neck. Which foundation would you recommend for redness, please?
redness.
So kind of colour-wise, do you like what using it in the old days? You know, going back when I first started writing about beauty like 30 years ago, people were using like green tinted concealing creams to take down redness.
It Cosmetics do a product called Bye Bye Redness.
Oh, well, there you go. It Cosmetics. Okay, Bye Bye Redness. And It Cosmetics, they're actually a brand that I've mentioned in my makeup tutorial, and I've got a link to on Liz Loves, because they do two things that I particularly love. One is that tight line mascara, which Kerry, you introduced me to.
Love it.
So tight lines is the really, really tiny, tiny little brush. And then also you introduced me to Bye Bye Under Eye, which is a great concealer.
Yeah.
If you've got bags under your eyes, Bye Bye Under Eye is where it's at, and you'll find links to that. Maybe Amy, you can pop that onto Facebook as well. So another question here. This is about eyeshadow on Instagram. It says, how do you use eyeshadow on hooded eyelids, please?
Well, I've got hooded eyelids, and
We can't see behind your mask. That's a very, very good way of concealing, isn't
wear
it?
a mask all the time. Use a cream.
A cream,
Rather
okay.
than a shadow. Maybe sort of creams are more like skin, so they're a little bit more forgiving than a shadow that might sit inside your, in the hood of your eyelid.
Okay. And would you use a darker colour?
No, I'd use a shadow the same colour as the natural shadow of your eye.
Okay, so that's actually what Kerry's used on mine. So if you look at my eyes, so I'm going to be doing a shoot a bit later, which is quite natural looking. So I didn't want to do the whole glam look. But this is almost like a sort of pinky brown. It's like my natural shaded colour, if my eyes were in shadow, if that makes sense. And then there's a little bit of something paler going on up the top.
That is...
Is that this one? The problem with working with a professional makeup artist is that they give you products that they're looking...
Like a palette.
I mean, look at that, you know. Okay, guys, this is what Kerry's been using. You can tell it's a popular one. This is from MAC. I can see faintly it says on it MAC. I've no idea what it's called because that's all worn off. But this is... It's a cream, isn't it? It's a cream... Oh yeah, it's a cream sheeny thing. You better check out the MAC website. Okay, well we'll
come to me.
We will, and you're going to have to do another of your brilliant makeup tutorials at home. So if any of you have watched Kerry's Instagram, her makeup tutorials are so genius because they're so funny, and you film them and then you edit them.
I do.
And so they're quite rude. You're quite sweary. You have to bleep.
When I'm on my own, I can't help it. Yes.
I was going to say, you just be careful now. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. They're a breath of fresh air. I know there are lots and lots of makeup artists doing lots and lots of tutorials out there. So another question here. This is from Kathy on Instagram to say which blusher and bronzer Kerry used on you today. Well, you didn't actually use a bronzer, did you?
Well, actually, that is a bronzer.
Oh, is it? It's a very pale bronzer. So this is the NARS one called Casino. Do you see? It's quite light.
So rather than using sort of one bronzer, one shader, you're adding more product and it just gets all muddy and messy. So I've just used one product that is shaping, but also it gives you that little bit of bronzing look as well. Yeah. Yeah. So less is more. Less is more.
You can always add more. Question here I can see coming up on Instagram about now that I'm 50 years young, clearly, I worry about using black eyeliner and if I should use it and how best to use it.
Don't use black.
Okay.
Throw the black away. It's too harsh.
Okay.
Go a couple of shades lighter, like a brown or a plum.
Plum.
Or even a grey, or even a navy blue looks amazing. Love a navy blue.
Navy blue, even on brown eyes, or do you have to match it?
Even on brown eyes.
Okay, I haven't tried a navy blue, but you've used like a little kind of plummy.
I've used a navy blue on you. In fact, I might use one today, Liz.
Navy blue.
Let's use a navy blue today.
See what you've done? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll try it. I have to say, I have learnt to really trust Kerry. And now you've been making my face up for...
How long? I have no idea.
It's nearly 20 years, I would say. I think we first got together on a QVC shoot.
Yes, we did.
When they were in Battersea back in the day. So, I mean, you're looking at 17, 18 years ago. And I'll never forget it because you gave up a job with Angelina Jolie to do me for QVC instead.
I did.
And look at you, you're still here 20 years later.
Longevity, you see?
And I've said this before, but when I was looking at the magazine covers, Kerry September has done my makeup for every single magazine cover since Dot. And I think we've got about 24, 25 covers.
It's about that, isn't it?
It's quite amazing. So this is the current one. This was a picture that we shot out here on the farm. When was it? Might even have been this time last year.
That was. I remember that day.
Yeah, in fact, look, I'm holding an apple from my apple tree. And of course, because we go to print, out of season, as it were, it means that you often have to shoot a long way ahead, particularly for things like covers. I mean, we can do incidental pictures closer, but we'll often try and do a sort of bank of photography at the same time because getting everybody together is really difficult and expensive and time consuming. So like today we're hopefully going to shoot 2 or 3 different pictures. Personal question from Jane on Facebook: do you have grey hair? How very dare you? What do you think this is? Some sort of expose? And do you purposely colour your roots dark? What a cheeky question. Okay, so my hair, obviously, I'm going grey, obviously. And I've actually gone blonder over the years. I did try a phase of going darker. And I think there are some pictures, funnily enough, I think they might even be in my yearbook 2, which Kerry will have taken, of me with slightly darker hair. So, yeah, actually, this is one I showed you, I think, earlier this week about hydrangeas, drying hydrangeas. Can you see that? And that is me with darker brown hair. I just find, for me personally, I kind of like the whole blondie vibe. Yeah, there's another one here of me with longer hair, and it's quite dark, if you can see that. And I find that actually, because I am going grey naturally, having blonder streaks in it, I just have basic highlights, it just all mixes in. It just sort of becomes...
More forgiving.
More forgiving. There you go. I like that. More forgiving. In fact, looking at some of these pictures here, my yearbooks are obviously packed with seasonal recipes, and we're just getting into the lovely autumn ones here, and home decor. Oh, I'm going to be sharing those with you later. How to paint pumpkins. Oh, love that. All of that coming up seasonally. But I also do beauty in the book, so there's a little bit of beauty for each season, and I can show you some of the makeup that Kerry has done over the years with Lily as well. Lovely Lily. We've done some beautiful shoots with her, haven't we? I mean, you've also travelled with me. We've been in Kenya together. We've been in trickier places like Malawi. Do you remember that, working in a hut in Malawi? That was
a sandstorm.
Oh, probably. I can't remember. I think it was the sandstorm, and we were mosquitoes like everywhere. I mean, it was just so not glamorous.
Rose petal farm in Turkey. That was amazing.
Oh, that was much better. Yeah, and that smelt amazing because we were just surrounded by incredible roses. I mean, they were just being harvested. We were in this huge, huge shed. It was like an aircraft hangar. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Filled with rose petals. We were just sort of walking through them. And it was the colour of this blouse, actually, just beautiful. Yeah. This, I've just found a lovely, lovely shoot that we did. This was with Lily, and this is your makeup. This is actually in the winter section of yearbook 2.
How to use glitter.
How to use glitter.
Without
and look at that.
Yeah.
Can you see? A little bit of glittery eyeliner. I mean, how pretty as we come into, you know, festive season, even if we have to have our parties on Zoom. Just getting that little bit of glow and all the step-by-steps. And there was another one in here, I think, that we did in springtime, looking at makeup. Kind of lose track because we've just worked together for so long. With
orange nails and multicoloured eyes.
Yes, so this is Spring Radiance. Here you go. Celebrity makeup artist Kerry September shows us how we can be inspired by the colours of this season's beautiful blooms to create a fresh new look. So this, again, is looking at sort of using peaches and pinks. Isn't that pretty? And what I love about that is there's all that kind of how-to, step-by-step as well. Really, really clean and clear. So, yes, that might come as a surprise if you've got your yearbooks and you're looking through all the lovely recipes and all the rest of it. Suddenly go, oh, look, there's some makeup as well. Because actually what I love about being able to write about makeup and beauty is it's all part of well-being. And I think, you know, that's why I just love working in the world of well-being, because it's all about living well, looking well is all part of that. That's kind of the icing on the cake, isn't it? That's the fun bit. Let's get our health sorted out. Let's look at gut health. Let's look at hormone health. Let's look at eating well. Let's look at sustainability. Let's look at ethical. That's why a lot of the brands I talk about, you know, ethical fashion, for example, behaving well in business. That's all part of it, isn't it? That's well-being, wellness in the kind of fullest, roundest sense. Obviously, fitness as well. Question from Claire here on Facebook saying, I was always told as you get older to go a little lighter as your skin changes too. Have you found that, Kerry, that our skin does get a bit lighter, a bit greyer, perhaps? She's not convinced.
Since I've done yoga, no.
Okay, take up yoga.
I have gone blonder as I've got older because I think it just makes you look a little bit fresher, lighter.
Yeah.
But I have got quite a lot of grey.
In your skin?
No, in my hair.
Oh, in your... Okay.
So I like the blondie thing too.
Yeah, go a little bit blonder. So let me just get back to my questions here. Thank you, Amy, for keeping me up to date with chats, etc. So this is from Pamela on Facebook. Would Kerry recommend a volumizing mousse for fine hair? I find most of them sticky.
No, this one's really nice. Paul Mitchell do a really lovely mousse, and it's coconutty and it's quite light.
Paul Mitchell is a great range, I have to say.
And GHD, their volumizing mousse is also great. But just use, half the amount, and then you can add more, basically.
Yeah. Excellent. Question here, does yoga help with skin?
Oh my gosh.
We were talking about yoga. Okay, let's get you started. Tell us about your yoga.
I just have a theory that because you are, you know, people have inversion tables, don't they? In India, they've been practicing it for centuries. You're upside down, the blood is rushing to your, you know, all around your body. It's speeding up all the blood rushing around your body so it's not stagnant blood. Mm-hmm. That's simple. So when you do yoga in downward dog and you're doing all your poses and you just feel like, yeah, I mean, it's invigorating. Yeah. Do you not agree? You do yoga.
I do. I mean, I'm not a major yogi. I do a bit of yoga, and in fact, I've written
You're really
about
good
it.
At yoga.
I'm not. I mean, I have. You can see my yoga routine actually is in the current magazine. This is Amy, who's actually a qualified yoga instructor. Amy, who's on Facebook, who's also our digital editor.
Wow.
And you can see there's a picture of her here if you want to see what our lovely Amy looks like. Little tiny picture of Amy there, and she gives me these. Oh, I'm so sorry, my phone's ringing. She gives me no, don't worry.
Leave it.
Unless they carry on ringing. So this is all about how to strengthen your back, and I've got some more yoga actually I've got to take pictures of for the next issue. So really, you know, simple things. And she talks us through how to do it. Obviously, there's loads of really, really good yoga people online as well. But yes, I think doing that inversion, doing that downward dog, you are helping the blood, aren't you, to flow around the body. It's all about the circulation, getting the circulation going.
So many benefits.
Actually, the first section of the magazine is a lot about health and beauty. So, for example, we've got Backstage Beauty. This is a lovely makeup spread that we do with Hannah Martin, who is a great young makeup artist, really up and coming. Well, she's not up and coming, she's kind of up and arrived, really, because she's also on Channel 5 doing lots of great stuff. So, but when I think that anybody in their 30s is up and coming, basically, when you get to my age. Then there's a great piece about hair loss, which is really, really interesting. And that's written by Alice Hart Davis, who writes a lot about tweakments. Talking about grey. It's a whole thing about grey hair. If you want to go grey, a lot of people are using this time to go grey. And then a really great interview with Marcia Kilgore, who founded Beauty Pie. I mean, so much. I'm not going to reveal too much because I know a lot of you like to savour the treats. We have a very few copies of these still available. We're not in the shops now, as you know, so it's subscription only. So we pretty much just printed the ones that we had for subscribers. We printed a few more copies, but don't hang about because they really are flying. I think as more and more people realise that, you know, they can't walk into their normal Waitrose or Smiths or Marks and Spencers or whatever and pick up their copy if they want it. We are still continuing in print. That's the good news. And also you get it at a saving, so it's cheaper and it's better and it comes through the post. So, but we have, this is kind of last call really if you want this one, or you can subscribe and it'll start for the next one, which will be out in November, because we are bi-monthly for those of you who don't know. So we come out 6 times a year. Now I just realised the time, we're going to have to finish up.
Do you want to do a disco flip?
A disco flip. Who wants to see the disco flip? Send me some hearts if you want disco flip. I'm not sure I want to do this. Oh my goodness. So many hearts. What have you done? Right, I'm going to have to stand up for this. Stand back.
By the way, I learnt this from an amazing hairstylist extraordinaire called Zoe Irwin. It's her move and it's her
This is her signature flip.
Yeah,
is it?
yeah,
Okay,
just
so
had
here
to
we
say
go.
that.
All right.
Okay.
If I bend down, are you going to see down the top of my blouse? You probably are. I'm going to have to go sideways, aren't I?
You're gonna go
Otherwise
that
I
way.
might be
Okay.
revealing a little bit more.
Okay. So we just shake out the hair and we very slowly, because we don't want to cause any
Back injuries.
yeah, and just disco flip your head back. Perfect. And then have a seat.
So there's my flip.
And there you go.
And there you go. Just like that, folks. Just like that. Now, what have you put on it to finish it?
So
A few questions just about the finishing.
I have used it's called Brilliantine by Bumble and Bumble.
Okay.
It's like a finishing sort of cream, just for the ends.
Just the ends here. So it's not weighted down. It's not heavy.
No.
Well, we're going to crack on. You will, of course, see the finished results in print. It'll be embargoed, though, so it won't be out until January. I might put a few sneaky behind the scenes from today. So if you're on Instagram, have a look at my stories. I might just pop a few of those up just to give you a flavour of what they're doing, what we're all doing, rather. We're going to be shooting outside. Kerry, you're going to be popping with Stop Work Now on our Instagram. You don't need to talk, so you can pop your mask on underneath your visor just to be extra sure. And I shall look forward to being back with you. I'll be able to tell you much more about it on Friday. I'll be back here live, Instagram, Facebook. Obviously, we will load up to YouTube a little bit later on, but I hope that's been fun. And thanks for being with us behind the scenes. There you go. Bye-bye. See you soon. Thanks, darling. You're great. Thank you.